The Tamron Hall season premiere starts now.
We are live. Welcome, everyone. Can you believe it? It is season 2 premiere. Now, when I walked out on this stage back in March, I was told that we'd be back in a couple of weeks. It is now September 14th, and while it seems like time stood still in a lot of ways, a lot has changed. But what I realized was that it is not about the space you're in. It's, do we have the ability to really talk to each other? That's the whole point of this show, when I say let's talk about it. And I can't think of a more direct way to address that than my first interview for season 2. Since we announced who the first guest would be, I've got DMs in my Twitter account, emails, calls. There were even strong warnings from people who told me what I better ask. Andrew Gillum, a rising political star, is one of the few stories in this COVID haze that was trending. In some ways, the lockdown gave him cover that he no longer wants. I traveled to Tallahassee to talk to Andrew and his wife. We have so much to unpack. Yeah. Well, you have.
Yeah, a little bit.
That you're ready for?
I have to tell you, to be quite honest, I mean, I woke up with some nerves.
And I know we're going to talk about Miami and what happened there.
Yeah.
A lot of what you've learned about yourself, Andrew, really it started in this room.
Yeah, it's very true. 2 years ago, almost to the day, we were in this hotel ballroom, and that's when I was in a 5-way primary race to become the Democratic nominee for governor of the state of Florida.
As the mayor of Florida's capital city, I humbly accept the Democratic nomination.
At only 23, Gillum became the youngest person ever elected to the Tallahassee City Commission. He went on to become the city's mayor, and then he did what no one thought he could do. He won the Democratic primary in a stunning upset victory, becoming the first Black Democratic nominee to run for governor of Florida.
We all do better when we do better.
In the closing weeks of the campaign, a who's who of party heavyweights flew to Florida to support the charismatic candidate who some people were calling the next Barack Obama. On election night, the race was so close, there was a recount. Gillum ended up losing by less than half of 1%. Here you are, this history-making moment. You could become the first Black governor of one of the most important states in this country, and by a razor-thin margin.
Yeah.
The kid who said, "I'm going to show you," doesn't get his chance to show the world.
Yeah.
And your concession speech, I remember watching it and wondering, what does he do next?
I sincerely regret that I couldn't bring it home for you. I can guarantee you this, I'm not going anywhere.
After the loss, what I thought I was doing was, if I could keep my day full, maybe the loss wouldn't feel so big. And I will tell you, even more so, I had an aide to help me sort of numb that. And that is, I took to drinking at a level that I had never done before. In the morning when I would have my coffee cup, somebody might think coffee was in it, but it was really whiskey.
Help me understand how this escalates, knowing your father. Would you describe him as?
He was an alcoholic.
An alcoholic.
When my father was not drunk, he was the best person you ever wanted to be around.
And your comfort is in the same bottle.
Absolutely.
That your father found his peace with.
Absolutely.
Are you looking in the mirror? Are you in the bathroom? Are you talking to yourself saying, what am I doing?
Not at all.
Were you counting your drinks? Were you saying, wait a minute, I just had 6, I just had the bottle?
Not a chance.
Were you hiding it from RJ?
Absolutely.
You have to tell you, Andrew, it's such a phenomenal part of your story in that you inside, you're crumbling. Yeah. But as people say today, it looked like you were living your best life.
Yeah.
I ran into you in Atlanta.
Yeah.
I turned around and I saw this gorgeous couple. And I'm thinking, my goodness, this is a walking Ebony magazine,
Yeah.
you know?
Can I tell you about that day though? I was at the bar and I had taken back, I don't know how many drinks before we got in the car. We left with the church crowd because I had literally fallen asleep at the table.
Can I tell you something? We'd never spoken or met prior to that day. I knew something was wrong. When did RJ start asking you questions about this behavior?
What Jay was mostly pressuring me on was she thought that I was in depression after the race. She asked me to go and get counseling repeatedly. It was a repeated refrain, and I knew part of it was we have to save our marriage, and then the other part of it was you have to deal with what you are not dealing with. I spent the better part of that entire year feeling like I'm not on mission, I'm not on course.
A failure.
I can give as many speeches as I want to, but I'm still a failure. And more than that, I have to tell you, Tamron, I was saying to myself, I'm a fraud.
Oh.
And so I'm literally giving speeches telling people you're
fraudulent?
enough.
What could be fraudulent?
Everything was fraudulent. At this point, it was, I'm not living the life that we should be living at this time. At home, we are stuck with each other in the sense that she barely can abide me and I can barely abide her, and everything the kids do irritate me. I am not being really purposeful, but what I'm not being able to say is that I am crushed.